What's up, y'all? Well, y'all already know who it is. Targeted individual CJBK. Um, I don't know if I'll be uploading this video to YouTube or BitChute, but I'll probably upload it to both. So this is just an update to some things I've been noticing. Um, all right, so let me start with this. I've been working on a couple of things, and I want to see. I'm gonna keep on working these things out because, okay, how am I trying to say this? All right, yeah. I still haven't gotten my hair twisted or anything. Y'all know how I normally have my hair. It's either like this, a big fro, or I might get some braids in it or something like that. But every time I try to go and get something done with my hair, something comes up, or my mother needs me to do something, so I never really get a chance to really do anything with my hair. But anyway, so I don't know if you remember in last video or previous video, whichever video it was, y'all know I put up a lot of videos where I mentioned if you take two mirrors, notice, right? If you take two mirrors, right? This is a double-sided mirror. I would suggest actually making sure that it's just a one-sided mirror like this. If you take two mirrors and then face them against each other, like so, right? If you hold it over places where you feel the beam, the light coming through or inserting itself into your body, you'll feel the relief of the pressure from it. So several places where I noticed the beams are, one tends to come at an angle. Always note that they all come from an angle, right? So one tends to come at an angle and it's going straight through the crown of the skull, and it's going deep into the center of the brain where it attaches to what I believe is the pineal gland. The pineal gland basically controls, I believe it's a combination between your nervous system, or it can lead to your nervous system and your, I believe, the endocrine system as well. But also from another spiritual perspective, the doing that one time just made a huge difference, even just for that little bit of time. So my girlfriend, she actually got like a little pocket mirror, like no bigger than that. And it's a double-sided mirror, but she keeps it closed, and then she'll wear it in her hair right above where she would feel the beam at. So kind of proud of her for doing that. And she also realized that like when she feels like any like that pressure in her chest or whatever, she'll take the mirror and she'll place it, right over her chest too. And remember, like I told you, when they're basically attacking your chest, at least when they're radiating your chest, right? They usually it's a specific zone area. So it's like here, right? And here. Let me see, because if the moments when you feel like that this rhythmia in your heart, or like that sharp shooting pain, or as if like when your normal heart is being, is like doom 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 doom, but then all of a sudden you get that doom doom. That's usually kind of like because they sent a specific frequency to your heart to try to throw your heart rhythm off. Then, on top of that, so, yeah, is one of the reasons why some TIs definitely should consider if they like. I mean, and you know what? I'm gonna say this though. If you decide to become one of those that try to make a helmet or anything like that, try to see if you can line the inner part of your helmet. Because if you're gonna do aluminum, it can't just be aluminum. It has to be something else. Preferably, I would say if you're going to use aluminum, you have to ground it with something though. It can't just be aluminum or some type of like conductive material. Because if it's just going to be aluminum, that's not going to be enough. You have to ground it. Because think about it like this: aluminum is conductive, right? So if you're just putting aluminum on your head, it's just basically absorbing the energy, but it's not sending that energy somewhere else. It's basically just absorbing it. So when I say to ground it, what you need is to connect it. So you need to connect it to something. So this here, this is kind of like just something I was playing around with. I seen Tony Pantalaresco. He has one YouTube channel called Herbs Plus Bead Works, and Arroy, Arroymak, Arroy Mock. Those are his two channels, I believe his two channels on YouTube, but he also goes by Arroy Mock on rumble.com. He's the one that showed me how to make this. This is basically like one piece to what would be considered a portable grounding. A portable grounding device is basically you take two alligator clamps and you take copper wire, but I think it probably works better if it's the insulated type of copper wire, not the one that's exposed like this one. If it's insulated, and then you kind of strip it so that the wire is exposed, and then you attach it to the alligator clamps. The alligator clamps are, I believe the alligator clamps are aluminum. They're like some type of metal or aluminum, something like that. And then on one end, you attach it to something else that's metal, right? So on this end, he basically, what he does, this is a copper sheet, right? This gray stuff, just for your knowledge, this gray stuff is actually graphene foil. I bought this graphene foil sheet because I wanted to test something out about like energy absorption and stuff like that. And well, I don't know. I don't think I've really like figured out anything specifically about it. I just know that one thing for sure, it's very, very flimsy. Like it. Like so this is basically like graphene foil, like it's very like delicate, but yet it's supposed to be like highly conductive. So like even holding this over my head, I could tell it interferes with the beam that's connecting to my pineal gland. But at the other end, it has to be. If my mother wasn't speaking, you could probably hear them going crazy upstairs. But anyway, oh, wait, I might be wrong because I folded it and it's like 3 layers of it. I might have done something. I think I just noticed something live on camera. Well, it's not live, but now if I were to take this Wait, I'm just trying something out now. Now I'm just trying something out. Because I just realized I made it thicker. So by making it thicker, I wonder if because I'm thinking to myself, because I made it thicker, did I do something different? I never thought to make it thick, like a thicker layer of it. So to some degree, something like this. This is just me, testing something out. So, okay, so to describe what I'm feeling, right? It's like, okay, how do I put this in words? Um, you hear somebody say, "Oh." Okay, so hmm. So what I can basically feel right now is a concentration of another energy being this one just started like a few minutes ago, like shortly after starting the recording. Now this one, there's a concentrated beam of energy coming from a direction, coming from like it's coming from out the window. And it's coming towards my chest at an angle like this. Um, so basically, what this feels like, it feels like there was a beam coming straight down through the crown of the skull, and then it was connected to the pineal gland. But because this basically entered and like it intercepted that beam, and then now maybe it's trying to go around, because I still feel the heat in the magnetic energy of the beam that's coming straight down, but because it can't go through, I don't think it's able to go through. Let me lift it up. hmm I wonder if I scattered it or something, because now it doesn't feel like, now when I touch my head, it doesn't feel like a concentrated tight beam. Like normally the beam is about like probably no bigger than a quarter, but now after placing this over my head, it feels like it's scattered or it's spread. So that's something to take note of. So anyway, but yeah, that's graphene foil and copper foil. We'll just put that down there. So yeah, what he does in his video is he basically takes probably not neodymium magnets. If you do use neodymium magnets, you're going to need something, especially like if you're using the one with the hole, you're going to need something to basically be able to hold them in place. Like if you were to use, let's say like a piece of wood or plastic, something that you can fit through the hole and then squeeze together. And then after you squeeze them together, oh, make sure that they're repelling. He says because it's the repulsion of the magnets is which creates um, the force field, right? Is the repulsion of the magnets. So he said if you can put something in between the holes, squeeze them together, and then what you would take is copper foil, or a copper sheet rather. Take copper sheet and you fold it over the magnets, and then you enclose the magnets in the copper sheet. Once you enclose the magnets in the copper sheet, you will then take the unused end of the alligator copper, clamp, and then you would clip it. You would like basically clip it to the copper foil that's encasing the repelling magnets. Then what you would do with that, you would basically place the copper magnet in against your skin, and then as you're placing it against your skin, you would want this end to be attached to something that's not connected to your body. So probably like if you're wearing a belt buckle and it doesn't come in contact with your skin, that usually can work. Or it could be, some other type of loose metal, maybe like a keychain that's hanging off the hook of your belt loop, and because like most keychains are metal, so if you clip that into something like, well, yeah, you see how this is basically that. But anyway, so that's that. Now, what I've also noticed, damn, I just realized what I did on camera. What I also noticed is, okay, so boom, you got the pineal gland, right? The pineal gland, I think the thing about why this is effective is because it's basically light trying to penetrate through a reflective material. Now, the reason why I said it shouldn't, the two mirrors shouldn't be a double-sided mirror, because basically it will just bounce off of this. But if it's two one-sided mirrors facing each other, then what basically is happening, light is gonna, boom, it's gonna hit the mirror and then bounce back. But if you take a second mirror that's just one-sided and place that face down, so it's going to penetrate through the one side that's not reflective, right? And then it's going to hit the other mirror, right? And then as it hits the other mirror, it's then going to bounce off of the other mirror. So basically, the light is going to get lost. The light and the energy of it is going to get lost until at some point, maybe it just basically completely, dissipates or whatever. So, like I said, you got the pineal gland, you got your memory processing, you got it on both sides. It's like kind of more to the front. Let me see. If you think about, start with your cheekbones and you kind of go up about, I want to say 2.5, 3 inches. That's where your memory processing is at. And then you could even try this. Place the mirror. You can find that specific angle where you just pay attention to your body. Pay attention to your body, and just find that specific angle where the beam is coming from. Your body will let you know, because the moment you find that right angle, you would feel like. So to basically describe what it feels like, it feels as if something was holding on to you, right? But the moment you find that right angle, that perfect angle, the moment you find that right angle, and then the beam is basically kind of reflecting against itself in between the two mirrors, it will then feel like something is like imagine you're trying to hold on to something and then someone is pulling you. Imagine you're trying to hold on to something and someone is pulling you, and then all of a sudden you start to feel your grip getting looser and looser and looser, and then next thing you know, it's just like, oh, that's basically what it feels like. Um, yeah, you see. So yeah, so I would say probably try to do that on both sides. Then you have your auditory cortex, your auditory cortex. So if your ears here, ear canal, and I think it kind of goes kind of inwards up. Let me see, ear canal is here, but then the auditory cortex is probably somewhere. I think it's somewhere like up right here, somewhere in this area. It's like kind of sort of like right above where your ear is at. That's for the V2K. Um, yeah, and it's the same sensation. Just try this with two mirrors. You're gonna feel the same exact sensation on each spot. Then the other thing is the visual cortex. The visual cortex is towards the back of the head, um, and then also the cerebellum. Um, the visual cortex, that's where they're basically stimulating the optic nerve, and they're also extracting the electrical data, the electrical impulses, or data from your what you see. So that's how they're able to see what you see. Um, and there is a beam connected to the visual cortex um, in the back of the head somewhere. I'm trying to find that angle. Yeah, I think I got it. Now, oddly enough, when I notice this, whenever I start to find those specific angles, those specific beams, and the specific angles, I mean, even when I'm not using the mirror and whatnot, I notice that, like, when I open my jaw at a certain angle, I don't know if there are glands back here. Like, I don't know if there are glands, not the salivary. Maybe it's the salivary glands, but it's like I could hear popping sounds. It's not painful, but almost as if like there are like air pockets, or probably gas pockets, or bubbles popping, like inside of like the like on the side of the skull or whatever. And when I hold my jaw open at a certain angle, even if I'm not breathing, there is like, it feels like it's not oxygen. I'm all right. But I don't believe it's oxygen. I think it's like a gas that's basically escaping from out my mouth. Now, what's even more interesting is in several instances um, I have heard other gang stalkers say under their breath, something about gas. I need more gas, and they're not talking about car gas, you know. Then I heard, then it was one time where, you know, me and my girlfriend, we was on a train. She was going home, and I got off at one stop, and then these two people got on the train, and as I'm walking by them, my energy, I felt their energy, and it was this woman. She had on shades, and she was like speaking real loudly about something that sounded weird. And then she sounded real mad when she said, "They don't even deserve to have gas." And then I was like, because I've heard that term gas before. So I'm also thinking to myself, I'm like, hmm. Now I'm thinking to myself, okay, there is something to really be connected with this whole thing when they say gas. Remember, the human body is a very complex, multifaceted organism, or multi-organism, something like that, full of different gases and things like that. So when you think about it, if they're trying to prevent you, if they're basically heating your body with radiation, they're splitting cells. They're splitting cells and they're splitting atoms. You know, well, yeah, basically radiation splits atoms. So it's like, if they're if they can add, you know, oxygen to your cells, or they can add specific things to your body that you would need. Imagine what they can do if they basically were to weaponize light to a point where it can split the atoms, and then next thing you know, it's basically extracting, like it's splitting, it's heating the cells in your body to the point where now gas is escaping your body. So it takes a whole new thing about, takes a whole new look when you think about carbon emissions. But anyway, yeah, so that's that. Now something else I noticed too. Let's take a walk. Okay, short walk. This here, I've mentioned this before. This is a Clarifion Ionic Air Purifier. So basically what this does is, now first thing I'm gonna say, when I first bought this, what's supposed to happen is when you plug it up, a blue light emits all around it, right? That lets you know that it's operational. That lets you know that it's working. Now, if I plug this up, the blue light does not come on. If I plug it up, let's see, if I come down here and plug it up to a different, come down here and plug it up to a different outlet, still doesn't come on. Now, I called the company and I had asked them if the product is defective because the blue light doesn't come on. And long story short, I don't think they told me anything that I really wanted to hear. Like, they didn't really have a remedy for it. So I was like, okay. So, but basically what it does is, in this part here, it takes in the positively charged particles that's within a room, right? And then it takes in the positively charged particles in through this section here. And then around this side, around here, what it does, around the sides, it basically puts out negatively charged ions. And what that does, it's supposed to attach itself to like dust particles and other things that may be like allergenic, or dead skin cells that's floating in the air. And what it does, it makes it heavy, so that it, instead of it floating in the air and then we breathe it in, it basically makes it heavy and then makes it fall to the ground. But it hasn't been on for quite some time, until one day. Oh, well, you might be able to see. I don't think you could see if I turn this light off. Now, I realize it might still be working because I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so you see that right there? That little spark? That little spark that you're seeing, that, let me see if I could do it again. That little spark that you're seeing, that is letting me know that there is some charge. There is some electricity flowing through the device. Now, here's something else that I found weird one day. So, I was trying out some things with my magnets and mirror, where this is all metal. That's metal, right? So one day I was just laying in the bed. I was woken up one night, and I'm trying to pull these apart. So I was woken up one night, and I was trying to go to sleep because I had to get up for work in the morning. But obviously, when you gotta work and they don't want you to work the job that you're trying to do for yourself, they want you to work where they want you to work, because they're like, we're a secret society. You're supposed to do what we tell you to do, blah, blah, blah. I was using the other mirror, but basically, I was woken up and I was feeling this like pain in my chest. It's not necessarily pain, but it's the radiation. I was feeling the pressure and the heat and the magnetic energy of being radiated in my chest, my mediastinum. And I mentioned this before. If you know of anyone who probably died of respiratory problems or whatever, and they claimed it was COVID, check the autopsy and see if there are signs of holing in their mediastinum. The mediastinum is basically this whole like thoracic, chest cavity. And holing is basically signs of like nano punctures throughout the chest. Punctures, like small punctures throughout the chest. And the only way something like that can happen is if they were like, particles, like charged particles, basically piercing through the tissues and the bone of, the chest cavity, right? Now, I love the fact that I learned about Qigong. Qigong teaches you that your hands are very powerful when it comes to electromagnetic energy. Your body produces, your hands actually emit electromagnetic energy, and each one of your fingers are responsible for different parts of your body. That's a whole nother thing. Matter of fact, if you want to look more into it, look into measurement of human bio, what is it called? Measurement of human biofield. There we go. And it'll explain to you how the hands actually emit electromagnetic energy, and each finger for both the left and right hand, um, for both the left and right hand, is responsible for showing the energy being emitted from different parts of the body, right? So I was basically laying in the bed like this, right? And I'm feeling the sensation of like being radiated all in my chest and my throat and everything. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna just hold this to see what happens. Cause I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if I hold the magnet, it attracts energy, right? So I'm thinking, okay, if I hold the magnet while it's on the mirror, and then the other end of the magnet is connected to the wall, as you can see, or rather the frame of the window. If I'm holding this, I might be able to, I don't know, maybe force the magnet to absorb whatever energy that they're directing towards me. So I was sitting here, I was just laying here, and I'm holding this. Then eventually I start to feel like something, like I start to feel like a vibration in my hand, and then eventually I start to feel what it felt like was the magnet. It felt like the magnet was moving, or something was moving over the magnet. So I was like, So I just kept holding on to it, and the longer I held on to it, the more I started to feel this like vibrating. Since he's very successful. Did you probably didn't catch that. Um, so as I'm holding on to it, um, I'm just like, wow, this feels weird. So I'm just like, all right, because I'm like, they're already trying to kill me. So I'm like, I might as well just hold on to it and see where this goes. So as I'm holding on to it, the more I hold on to it, all of a sudden, first thing I start to notice was I started to see the blue light come back on the clarifion. And I don't think it's showing now, but like I think it was just like the longer I held on to the magnet while it was like while I'm in the room, the blue light started to come back on. And not only just that, I started to feel almost like a relief of like pressure in my head. And then I started to feel like energy transferring from like my body and then up to my hand and then towards the magnet. So I don't know. I then began to just squeeze it just a little bit harder. So I was like, let me see what happens if I apply a little bit more pressure. And I don't know, the longer I held it, that's when I started to see the blue light come back on again. I was like, wait a minute. Now, if you remember, in scalar weaponization, scalar energy, it basically has to like when they take the two transmitters, the two scalar transmitters, and they direct it on a target, it creates it basically creates like a zone, like an energy zone, or some type of like um I guess like an energy zone around the target. But what they also need is for there to be like an influx of, um, I guess, electromagnetic field, or other charged particles around the target as well. So I think what they do is they induce like some type of power surge um, into like a building's electrical grid, just to be able to increase the amount of uh what is it, like electrical radiation um, in a room or whatever, or in an apartment. Because I mean, remember, we're dealing with people who basically have, access to electrical things. They got access to your medical records. They got access to um, just about every facet of your life. You try to apply for, you try to apply for government benefits. They got somebody working in the office. That you try to apply for, a job somewhere. They got somebody working there. So it's like no matter where you try to go, they got somebody working there, and they'll be just like the flying monkeys from the Wizard of Oz. They'll be the first ones to try to slander your name, and then basically try to destroy your character, and try to come up with whatever that they need to make other people not help you. um, and then the person who is unsuspecting, they're not gonna know who you are, so they're probably just gonna go off of um, the quote unquote advice that they were given by someone that they knew longer than you, without ever actually getting to know you at all. So it's a messed up world we live in, but it is what it is. But yeah, I was waiting to see if the blue light would come on, but I don't think it's gonna show today. Yeah, but oh well. So yeah, all right. But yeah, I just want to show you the mirror thing once more. And yeah, anything else I find out, y'all already know I'ma share it. Each one, teach one. And as always, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.